Joining us now is OjyOkpe with stories trending around the world. Hello, Junix.
Good morning, Dr. Abati. How are you this morning?
I'm good.
You had a rough morning, didn't you?
No. It's okay.
Isn't it so fancy now we have a coffee to calm us down?
Where is the coffee? We have coffee.
Must you always go to that
empty
extreme?
cups. You say you have coffee.
Let me drink my cup. That's why I love our favorite Nigerian wife. But this is beautiful, isn't it? Good morning, Rotus. Please.
Good morning, Oji. Okay. Good morning. Good to see you.
We have to give the public empirical facts.
And guess what? It was Mr. Empirical Facts' birthday yesterday.
Happy birthday, Rufai.
Happy
Implications,
birthday. We miss him. Implications. On Friday, I'm just putting the date out there now. Friday,
Okay,
Rufai.
you are sponsoring it.
No, I just said
you are capable.
No, I said Rufai is capable. Always capable. Again, well, happy birthday to our Rufai on fire. Well, good morning to you, viewers. Let's begin what's trending in the United Kingdom, where former Anambra State Governor and Labour Party leader Peter Obi is attending the Commonwealth Enterprise and Investment Council Trade and Investment Summit in London. On Tuesday, Peter Obi advised African leaders on how to deal with the economic challenges resulting from U.S. President Donald Trump's trade tariffs. The Labour Party leader highlighted Africa's contribution to global trade, stating that the GDP remains low. He urged African leaders to focus on creating value, increasing innovative production, and prioritizing sectors like agriculture, which could transform Africa into a major global agricultural force. Let's listen in.
Africa needs leaders that will prioritize productivity, especially in investing in critical areas of development, investing in education. You need to invest in educational skills because it will provide the workforce that is needed for productivity in Africa and the world. Africa needs to invest today in the world food market or productivity. Africa just contributes about approximately 300 billion. Yet they have vast cultivated land, which if properly cultivated and given attention could go up to $1 trillion. So Africa can actually be a net exporter of food and contributing to the world.
All right. I think Peter Obi's comment there was quite apt. He made a lot of comments. He also stressed the need to invest in Africa's young population to create a skilled workforce and increase productivity. He also pointed out Africa's significant potential, including its large workforce, plentiful natural resources, and fertile land. Those were some of the comments that he also made during that meeting. It comes really at the time of this Trump's trade tariffs. This is how we need to increase. It's Africa first at this point, and we need to put that forward. And I'd like to take this tweet from Cheji Vincent, who commented on Peter Obi's video, saying, apt, while the challenge of combating corruption remains a Herculean task, the bigger problem rests on how African countries can unlock capital needed to process its vast natural resources and shun export of primary products. Reform of the current financial architecture is key. Meanwhile, in Kaduna State, Nigeria's Vice-President Kashim Shettima on Tuesday launched the construction of a special agro-industrial processing zone, SPAZ, a project aimed at improving Nigeria's agricultural value chain. The governor of the state, Uba Sani, said the initiative is a huge investment designed to position Kaduna as a major player in Nigeria's industrial development. Well, during the commissioning ceremony, the president of the African Development Bank, Akinwumi Adesina, said Kaduna has led the way as the first to launch the SPAZ program in Nigeria. Let's take a look.
I wish to congratulate you, Your Excellency, Governor Uba Sani, from your incredible leadership, vision, dedication, and tenacity that have led to this historic groundbreaking for the development of the Special Agro-Industrial Processing Zone in Kaduna. Please put your hand together for his governor. With the Special Agro-Industrial Processing Zones, farms will thrive across Kaduna State in every local government. Food and agricultural processing companies will move to Kaduna State. The rural areas of Kaduna State will boom with economic activities, and Kaduna State will mark itself out, as always, as the leading center for agro-industrialization in Nigeria. Congratulations, Your Excellency, Mr. Vice President. Congratulations to you, Your Excellency, Governor Uba Sani. Congratulations to the government of Kaduna State. Congratulations to the good people of Kaduna State. Congratulations to the federal government of Nigeria and the people of Nigeria. Now, let's roll up our sleeves and build the special agro-industrial zones, and do so fast. The African Development Bank and all the partners will strongly support you.
This was beautiful to see. Congratulations to Nigeria. We know that the African Development Bank has invested heavily in the SPAZ program across Africa, with Kaduna being the first state in Nigeria to launch the initiative. This huge initiative is part of this national project to actually rebrand our country as, you know, a great agricultural processing nation that could foster export.
It's fantastic, Oji, and thank you so much for coming to me, because I'm extremely passionate about agriculture and you know, us trying to build our Pan-African community and ensuring that we can actually begin to activate the Africa Free Trade Zone, Africa Free Trade Agreement, excuse me, that we've been talking about for so long, but not yet seeing any progress on it. Value addition is one of the biggest conversations we've been having here on the African continent for time immemorial. Benefication of minerals, adding value to our agricultural produce, because Africa is stuck in this cycle where all we ever send is raw produce to the rest of the world. And so sometimes I just think to myself, we're always complaining about, you know, global trade inequality and so forth, but we ourselves, are we investing to ensure that we can offer more value to the table, and can we trade amongst ourselves as well? So I think this is a fantastic development. Now, to take this further, given the current global climate, I think it's very important to take a page out of what South Korea did. Like what Dr. Abati was saying earlier, I believe the story was brought by Reuters. We're saying, well, South Korea has now gone to say, given the global climate, we're going to put some money down and inject, is it $3 billion into our strategic industries, for them being automotive industries, very similar to what South Korea did and the East Asian Tigers did around the 80s, I believe, to build their strategic sectors. So what are we now doing? We now have the agro-processing zone, good. Where are the free trade zones? Where is the investment now coming from the state? Not that we're going to shop and beg our bowl and say, please borrow, lend us money. No. Where is our budget that states that, okay, this is how we're going to subsidize the production of this and ensure that we invest as a state into the production of XYZ to do that value addition, so we can go beyond raw materials, go to intermediate goods and even finished goods as well.
I love that. I wrote to Peter Obi's point. I mean, he's always moving, saying those moving from consumption to production. And, exactly. You know, I think that, the fact that he urged African leaders to capitalize on, our young workforce and, increase human capital development in terms of even agriculture. Your thoughts on that?
Look, Peter Obi was spot on. Agriculture in Nigeria is growing at sub 1.3%, right? Livestock is in recession. Fisheries and forestry are struggling. So you need these investments in order to be able to push things. So we have a food crisis. And most important of all, you need electricity. About 600 million Africans don't have access to electricity. So if you're going to be, pushing production forward, you've got to have good roads, you've got to get this into market and so on and so forth. And look, as far as intra-Africa trade, we need more ports. One of the reasons why we struggle with trade within Africa is we don't have enough ports on the continent. So Peter Obi is spot on, and well done to Kaduna. This is where we need to go.
Yes, kudos to Kaduna State government and, of course, AFDB. Dr.
Two subjects on the table. Let me start with Mr. Peter Obi. I think I agree with him on everything that he said.
Yeah.
What he was saying, by way of summary, is that Africa is the last frontier, because we have just about 2 to 3% share of global trade. We have just about 2% of global GDP, and yet he pointed out, he reminded us, he reminded our forum at the CITS Commonwealth event in London, that look, Africa has a population of 1.5 billion people. Africa has a youthful population of about 1 billion people in 54 countries. People who are very energetic.
Yes.
And that the situation in which we have found ourselves, does not reflect the resources that we have. Not just in terms of human beings, but also in terms of mineral resources. We have arable land. We have natural resources. We cannot afford to be behind. And he is now saying that Trumpism, the disruption of the world by Trump, should be a wake-up call for African leaders to look inwards and to find homegrown solutions to see how they can engage the world. But he also noted, and I also agree with him, that the problem with Africa is leadership. So on all of those points, you cannot argue with him. So he's asking for productivity. He's asking for human capital development. All these young people, all over Nigeria and the rest of Africa who are unproductive, who are just milling around because the state have failed them, they should be put to productive use. So he's entirely on point, to borrow Rotu's phrase. Number two is the phase one of the agricultural project that they are doing under the Tinubu administration. Let us remind ourselves that this administration has always talked about agricultural productivity.
Yes.
But the problem with agriculture in Nigeria is that we have been hearing it since the 1970s. Agriculture is a mainstay of the Nigerian economy. That's what we hear with the vast arable land that we have. But we've not been able to get it right. We have had Operation Feed the Nation. We have had the Green Revolution. We have had all kinds of initiatives, which is why I think it was very instructive that Dr. Akim Adesina, president of the AFDB, was the person who was speaking, because he was one of those persons in this country who made an effort to provide a blueprint for the agricultural sector in Nigeria. And his emphasis was about value chain. And he used to say, that agriculture should be seen as a business, not something that you do in your backyard. That agriculture is a business. That's his mantra. And that there is an entire value chain that the country must focus upon. And when Vice-President Shettima himself spoke, he talked about that value chain, about how it's not enough to just have these farming zones. Also, you have to worry about infrastructure. You have to worry about access to markets. So they could not have invited a more knowledgeable person than Dr. Akim Adesina. But what they did in Kaduna is the first phase. And the governor of Kaduna says he is committed to agricultural development. Yeah. The governor of Lagos State also has a major project somewhere close to Ekpe. I've been there before. In Lagos, they also have these special markets that they have created. A country of over 200 million people with vast arable land and a lot of idle people around should be able to feed itself.
Yes.
And we should be able to work on the value chain. So I think it's a very good development. But the Kaduna State governor must not just say he's committed to it. Yes. He and all the other states, this is phase one they are doing. Kaduna, Kano, Kwara, Oyo, Ondo, Cross River are in that first phase. We would like to see the results so that we won't need to go to the market, and then they will tell you that the cost of a bag of onion has gone up, or we cannot afford to buy tomatoes. And those of us who are, well, don't let me tell you. Okay, I rest my case.
All right, yeah, absolutely right. I mean, the governor of Kaduna also doing really well. He did say, like you said, he's committed to agriculture in the state. I believe I read also that, he had increased the current budget, the agricultural budget, from 23.4 billion in 2024 to 74.2 billion in 2025. Again, kudos, Governor Uba Sani. We'll take another story now. Human rights activist Omoyele Sowore has continued his campaign to force the retirement of the Inspector General of Police, Kayode Egbetokun. In a video posted On X, Sowore compared Egbetokun to a retired police inspector who was arrested for mounting a roadblock and extorting commuters. Sowore maintained that the IGP ought to have retired, describing his stay in office as illegal. Let's take a look.
Because this one no president. President don't change. Because this one no president, they arrest him. Both of them are retired. This man they retired, but they refused to. He was not tired. This one is tired and he's refusing to retire. I'm tired. So there's no reason why they should be treated differently. Let me even tell you, this man when he collects his own extortion, he go transfer and give to this man. This man collect your own. He don't reach this man. That's the problem. And the man they say, as long as this one no go, himself not will go.
And this one no get power. This one get power to remove this one, but this one now we the masses will remove this one. Must go.
Well, let's show her. He's relentless, really. I mean, isn't this the same thing that they arrested him for, Dr. Abati, calling the IGP illegal? But that post has gone around social media, quite funny, the way he posted it out. But he's making some points there, Dr. Abati. Over to you, really quickly.
This is not new. Yes. This matter has been on the table since 2024. Yes. And I think that both the Nigerian Bar Association and the federal government already provided an explanation for what he calls the extension of the IGP's tenure. Some other persons within the civil service arena, you know, that the president extended their tenure. There have also been controversies in that regard. However, what I find amusing about this is the resilience of Omoyole Sowore.
Doesn't give up.
His determination, the passion that he brings to this. I mean, since his university days at the University of Lagos, he has been, I'm sure he went to that protest after leaving court. And then he just started another one. You know, so I admire people like him. You know, it's like to protest, to be active, to always look for one trouble or the other. It's a kind of oxygen to him. But I guess that in society, we need spirits like that.
Yeah, we do.
You know, the Omoyele Sowores, the Ganufa Wehimes, the Femi Falanos, who just like to just jump up and say, we are fighting. This thing is coming up. No matter the level of argument, they just stay with their level of argument. I mean, the last time I spoke with him, he said he had a matter in court. I said, okay. He said, don't worry. Everything will be okay. Everything will be fine.
He's so confident, really. Well, all right.
But society needs activists because they raise issues, they set agenda, they draw attention to issues of importance.
We'll follow up on this story. All right, let's take another story now from Lagos, highlighting this video showing a female commercial driver who said she was violently attacked by a man who boarded her vehicle and attempted to steal her car battery. After they reached their destination, the visibly injured driver said she was brutalized. After confronting the man, lamenting that despite paying the required levies and union tickets, female drivers in Lagos receive little or no protection from the National Union of Road Transport Workers or the state government. She's demanding justice. Let's take a look.
I carry this guy. You know the rich run? He say they go law school. As I look for me, I see they don't carry my battery. From there, now I come down, go meet her. Say, if you don't do I don't take. Wait till why you won't carry my battery too. This one is the last one I will carry. That's what you don't carry battery. This is the battery for here. See the battery. I want to enter to go law school. From back. Now you for carry my battery. From back. Now from there, it just start to beat me. See my face. Then I see my clothes to stay again. I bet anybody where they watch this video. Me name is Commonwealth right. He's supposed to do me like this. He don't naked me. See on my body. Then I see my hand. Nigeria. So he's supposed to have a woman doing man's job. He said because I'm a woman.
This was so upsetting to watch Vimbai. I commend her courage, though. She stood her ground. I mean, how can this be happening to women in Nigeria. I mean, she is one of the few female drivers, commercial bus drivers in Lagos. They should be protected. We need to follow up on the story and find out exactly what has happened to this man that they call Agbero, is that what, the Lagos thug.
You know, Oji, when we speak about women doing men's jobs, women empowerment, Women's Month, misogyny, people think we're talking grammar, but the honest truth is that beyond all the rhetoric, this is the reality of a woman who is trying to venture into a territory that is known as a man's world. The challenges are beyond capacity, ability to do the job. We talk about merit, we talk about all those things. It's the mentality of some of the men, I won't say all men, of some of the men around it, and the society and the mentality of society as well. Because imagine this was happening in the middle of the street. Nobody came to her rescue. Nobody tried to come and mediate. I mean, of course, this is just a short clip in probably a longer exchange that happened. But Oji, this is just terrible. I hope it is investigated, it is looked into, but she's raising a valid point, which is, what is the protection that is offered to women who take up these types of jobs, given that we understand the terrain that we're living in, given that we know that it's already dangerous for a man, let alone for a woman. But this woman she's earning an honest living. She's probably feeding her children. She is doing what she can to take home bread. So it's very important for us to understand, even female Uber drivers. We've had a number of incidents in the past as well where we have, various female drivers, commercial drivers, are always facing all of these types of challenges. So I hope this is looked into. I hope justice is served, but this is a singular case. We now need to look at what's the permanent solution so that we're not doing a knee-jerk reaction to these incidents. What's the overall umbrella that is provided for women who venture into these traditionally male industries?
Well said, Vimbai. I mean, we're not even talking about what she has alleged. I mean, she said something about the man trying to steal her battery. I mean, what could have led to that sort of...
Well, I mean, if you're stealing somebody's battery, you're obviously someone who is in need and now wanting to break the law to also take somebody else's property. So there's also the regulation of commercial buses here with respect to the downfalls and so on. You look at how they drive, they run lights. Police will stop other, citizens in, regular vehicles and let them pass. So they are, a lot of these folks are, so she is pretty brave to be driving in a sector that frankly is a jungle. So, and as Vimbai pointed out, men have to step up. This is someone's sister, daughter. It's we can't let these things happen. And I hope that the investigation is actually carried out and that individual is prosecuted, brought to the law, and all that.
Right, Dr. Batsi.
Okay. Well, many dimensions to this. Women constitute 50% of the population of Nigeria, so they are not an unequal partner in the Nigerian arrangement. And what we have seen increasingly is that Nigerian women are asserting themselves in different aspects of social life. We have lady mechanics now. We have women who are driving buses, who are, doing all kinds of jobs. We have women in politics, women in business, but wherever they find themselves, this culture of patriarchy and misogyny remains a major problem, where men think that they have superior authority over a woman, including having to enforce discipline on them. So this falls within that framework. The second thing is that the violence against that lady who is doing a honest day's job, is criminal. We have in this country what is called the Violence Against Persons Prohibition Act of 2015. And under that law, which is recognized by the Lagos State government, you don't have the right to brutalize another human being, whether female or male. So I would like to call on the Lagos State government to look into this and to protect this woman, because her rights have been, violated unjustly. The second point is that she's driving a bus in Lagos. They have something they call the National Union of Road Transport Workers. I believe that she's a member. What this indicates is that female drivers within that NURTW are probably not protected. And I would like to call on Mustafa Segu, the name of the chairman of the NURTW in Lagos, to look into this matter. Who is that Agbero? Yes. Who is beating a driver? Mustafa Sego is the head of the Agberos in Lagos. That's the NURTW. You know, so they have the local. They have a local branch.
But
you should look into it.
Not thug? Is that what it is? Is Agbero not a thug?
Agbero, all these street tax collectors.
So they're not thugs. Are they thugs? Or they
no, I don't want to use the word thug.
Because you said one man is the head of thug.
They are tax collectors, more or less, at motor parks and others, and they engage these drivers. So apart from the local body, they also have something they call national. National is headed by MC Oluomo, Musiliu Akinsanya, MC Oluomo. He also has a responsibility to see how they can create a framework for the protection of vulnerable female drivers, not just in Lagos, but across the nation. MC Oluomo himself started, as a driver and then as an Agbero, and then he grew to become the big man. He was chairman in Lagos, and then he became president. So this should be a wake-up call for the structure, both at the local level and at the national level, and to see how order and discipline can be imposed. And that particular Agbero should be identified, and it should be disciplined.
We have shown the picture of the Agbero here. We're hoping to hear from the Lagos State government as well. So we head over to Gabon now. Let's show this video of the president of the country, Bryson Nguema, showing off his dance move. Let's take a look. You know, I will ask you, can your president do this? Can your president do this? What are you doing?
You can't do it.
No, he can't.
This is a different level.
I thought this was... go ahead.
Oji, there's election in Gabon on Saturday. Let me tell you something. All of these presidents, when it comes to election time, they can do it. That's the honest truth. When it's campaign season, they can pull out all the moves. So, I mean, Gabon is going to... this man was the transition president after the coup that ousted... Ali Bongo, who was a sit-tight, known as a sit-tight president. But now they're going to their first election since the coup took place in 2023. Of course, he has been a transition president. But I guess the excitement is the fact that, we're going to election for the first time. It's more than likely that he's going to win. He, of course, he has the power of incumbency around him. We'll stand to see how free and fair that election would be. But for me, the main point is when it's campaign season, every politician can dance.
He has a power of incumbency, of course, and the dance move. I mean, look at that. Michael Jackson can't even try that. Well, all right, a bit of comic relief. Let's take our story under entertainment. Nigerian Afrobeat superstar Davido has committed to no cheating, pledging fidelity and a renewed focus on family during an interview on the Breakfast Club podcast on Tuesday. The multiple award-winning musician stressed that polygamy is disastrous and admitted that his previous mistakes have shaped his current perspective. Let's take a look.
Like you should. I don't want to, like, hear what I said I don't want any wahala.
No. I said that ain't not Davido. I said that ain't not Davido.
I'm okay.
Okay.
Like my uncle that's the governor, he got 2 wives. You know what I'm saying? I have another uncle, that all his wives live with him. Like they be playing with each other, in the crib, but he's Christian.
Oh wow.
You know what I'm saying? So
how much money he got though?
He's very rich.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying? But I mean that don't mean nothing. Upon all the money there's still wahala.
But we're not talking about that, though. We're talking about
I'm not
having
cheating
another.
again.
No, not cheating. If you're able to have another wife under the laws of Nigeria.
Yeah. Would I?
Yeah.
No, not now.
I don't believe it.
He said
Africans only talk.
Dr. Abati, you know I'm coming to you. Polygamy is wahala.
Anyway,
Go ahead.
Look,
Yes.
Davido is a citizen with rights under the Constitution.
Okay.
He has the right to his privacy, to live his life the way he wants it. However, he's gone to the public domain on that program, the Breakfast Club, it is called, to say he will not cheat again. That sounds like self-indictment. It's like an open confession, you know, with him saying he has, I think, 5 children from 4 women, and then he says, oh, I won't cheat again. Yes. So that's like serial, you know, confessing that he is a serial cheater. But it's his privacy. He can run his life the way he wants. Whatever consequences accrue therefrom, those consequences will be his responsibility. So I don't want to comment on how he chooses to live his life. However, I think what we should focus on is his latest album that is coming out, which is titled, I think, 5.
Wow, look at you, Dr. Abati.
So, 5. We look forward to that 5, and we are hoping that this will be another big hit.
Okay.
Because
the 5 named after the 5 children.
He's been releasing one hit after the other.
Fantastic.
And in terms of his talent and what he's been able to do, both on the national and the global stage, we should congratulate him and exchange him applaud him and wish him well with the release of 5.
All right. Rotus on fire.
No, look.
Nigerian laws permit polygamy. Are you going to marry 2 wives?
No, I can't. As he said, his uncle is rich and can afford. There's an economic angle to it. Dr. Abati, you know what I said about population in this country. So, yeah, it's not economically viable.
It's good you brought up that point.
It's not economically viable.
Deliberately. I think, to look at it the other way, the prolificity of Davido should be some kind of inspiration for all the young men in Arise, the ones that I see every day, and I will name some of them. Rotus Odiri here, who has not even tried one. He wants to comment on somebody who has married 4. Rufai Hosseini, who says, no, you don't need to marry. There's also one. Kingsley. Yes. Kingsley again. We will do a special edition on the Bachelors of Arise News.
Bachelors of Arise News.
So you don't have the moral right to criticize a prolific and gifted, adventurous, talented young man like Davido.
I'll say kudos to Davido for turning a new leaf, and we cannot wait for your album. Well done. Shall we take our good news report now in the United Kingdom, where a British woman, 36-year-old Grace Davison, has become the first woman in the country's history to give birth to a baby after a womb transplant. Grace was born without a functioning uterus and received her sister's womb in 2023. 2 years after the pioneering operation, Grace gave birth to a baby girl in February. A team of 20 doctors and nurses assisted with the cesarean section to ensure a safe delivery at Queen Charlotte's and Chelsea Hospital in London.
We were so desperate for a family, so I was constantly, trying to get comfortable with another alternative that might offer us that in a sort of, because there was no guarantees with this at all. But I just knew that there was just such a longing in me to carry my own baby and to have that with me and Angus, to go through a pregnancy and to know her from the earliest moment. And it's like an innate thing.
I'm a transplant surgeon. I'm involved in the donation and the transplantation of organs that are life-saving. This is not life-saving. However, it is a transplant that is totally life-enhancing, life-transforming, and of course, life-creating.
Oh, this was so beautiful. Huge medical technology. Grace's husband described their daughter's arrival on February 27th as the greatest gift they could ever have asked for. The baby girl was named Amy in honor of Grace's sister. This was such a beautiful story. I mean, kudos to the doctors in the United Kingdom. This is what medical technology can do. I'd love to thank you all for your great analysis, as always, on What's Trending. Well, that's all I have for you guys on What's Trending today. I'll see you all next week. Oh, tomorrow, maybe.